Welcome back to another episode of Before You Buy, the show where we give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today it's time to take life one step at a time with Baby Steps, the next big game in the bad controls subgenre. QWOP, QWOP, whatever you call it, Octodad, other games like that, they give you an extremely simple task and the most insane controls possible to accomplish it in baby steps. And in baby steps, that simple task, which is for, somebody who has the ability to play games anyhow, definitely a simple task. It's walking. This is a game where you're spending more time in the dirt than on your feet, though. And when a pratfall hits at just the right time, it is really funny. When you're sliding down the same muddy hill you've been trying to climb for the last 15 minutes, it's still funny, at least for people that are watching you, which is the point of Baby Steps. It's not really a video game. It's a streaming curiosity. It's an object for sharing online out of context. It's kind of the perfect Twitch slop, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing really depends on your priorities. If you're a fan of patience testing exercises by like the creators of Getting Over with Bennett Foddy, this is probably going to be your jam. Baby Steps begins with your main character, man-child, watching TV, lounging perpetually on a basement sofa when you're mysteriously transported to a poison swamp without shoes and a desperate need to pee. It's not clear where you are or what you're doing at the start of this game. You're free to wander around with your janky, high-effort walk cycle, and you can check out anything that looks interesting in the distance. Sometimes you'll get a weird little cutscene, sometimes you'll get nothing at all, and it quickly becomes clear how to make progress. There's glowing candles in the far distance, and your goal is to climb the mountain, which earns a checkpoint at each campsite marked with a candle. You'll take a rest and continue up the hill, getting a little more story and a little more cutscene nonsense to urge you forward. No, none of it really makes any sense. Not telling you that it does. You'll encounter a guide and another hiker early on that will not help you. One teases a grappling hook mechanic that your character flatly refuses, awkwardly and for no good reason. It's a quick joke about video game mechanics, obviously. A normal game would make all this climbing easy, but Baby Steps gives you nothing. You have a pair of feet, and that's it. Don't even think about using your arms for anything because they don't do anything. They won't do anything. The act of walking, it's just a nightmare when you physically control each step and where it lands. Holding the left trigger raises your left leg, raising the right trigger raises your right. The trick is timing how you lean and where you place each foot before releasing the triggers. It's an awful control scheme that's designed to be as uncomfortable. Like, that's the game. You're tripping over yourself constantly, even on perfectly level paths. Like, they don't matter. Weirdly, this control scheme somehow makes precise platforming much easier than in real life, while walking around is an insurmountable challenge. We've played Baby Steps for hours, and we still can't quite get down the perfect walking rhythm, and that's gotta be by design. The slightest change in elevation and how the surfaces work with the pads of your feet throw everything out of whack, dumps your sweatsuit-clad man in the dirt. It is funny when he's in the dirt, though, at least. It is, I'm not gonna lie, like, it's funny. If you find Goat Simulator funny, you're gonna find this funny. I find Goat Simulator funny, I find this funny. But, I mean, if you're looking for a challenge, you get it with every footstep. After about 4 hours, you do get better at the simple act of walking forward, but the big problem is there isn't really a lot to see. Early on, you're doing a lot of walking, but not a lot of exploring. You move very slow, and immediately the idea of checking out points of interest in the distance, it becomes painful to think of. You basically have to carefully move each single step to get that soccer field in the distance. And when you get there, it's an awkward cutscene or it's nothing. Awkward is a good way to explain, in fact, everything in this game. Its mission statement is to make everything as awkward as possible. The movement's deliberately awkward, but so are the bizarre cutscenes. Your main character mumbles incoherently in every scene where another character's angry at him. You'll get yelled at for knocking over toilets, stumbling into stone piles, and it only gets weirder as you climb. The music gets worse, too. The soundtrack is a collection of honking horns and donkey sounds that gets louder the more danger you're in, which I can't even say with a straight face. It makes me laugh. The graphics are ugly in that way where everything looks like a store-bought Unreal asset, thrown together haphazardly, but the carefully designed challenges show some careful design. Like, obviously. There's stone bricks that are nicely rendered as a path through mud, for instance. Each surface has a different sound effect and friction that affects how you move and whether you slip. Later in the game, sand is both stiff and soft, footsteps and your inevitable falls, flattening the sand in real time. that doesn't look half bad either. The presentation, it's a mixed bag, I guess. The cutscenes are super cringe. They're also the cringe at the core of the game that you're supposed to, take as what it is. After a few hours, you encounter donkey-headed people with no pants and very, very visible private parts. We opted for the censorship option, which the game does helpfully offer at the start. Whether you want to see it or not, we can't show it here. Otherwise, we will absolutely get demonetized. Later, we found a tiny city at the side of the cliff. Climbing up to the top, you'll meet naked tiny people that also babble at you like everyone else. Every cutscene is off-putting, and I think for the average person, probably only sporadically funny, but at the same time, that makes it funnier for me. Like, okay, in terms of just normal, regular funny, the first time you encounter a pantsless donkey, it's funny. The third time, it's not funny. By the fifth, sixth, and seventh time, the joke is played out, and that's at the point where weirdos like myself start finding it funny again, because we know that other people are playing the game going, come on! I get it! Stop with the donkeys! It's not funny anymore! Thinking of that is very funny to me. Somebody just furious that they're seeing donkey person genitals. But if you weren't a massive fan of Tom Green in the late 1990s, I understand if you might not necessarily love the one joke that is here. And there is one joke here. You jank around a jank environment, stumbling into jank cutscenes. It's definitely inspiring to see the developers stretch a single stupid idea as far as they possibly can beyond a breaking point. You'll learn that your goal is to reach a castle and make a wish. The donkeys need more cigarettes, but none of it matters. I think it's kind of a parody of the self-help wish fulfillment challenge games like Celeste, which, by the way, Celeste, I kind of don't really care why you're doing Celeste. It's just a great platformer. But I definitely get that they're kind of making fun of the idea of climbing a mountain and reaching a sense of self-actualization. Like, your main character is a loser that refuses to stand up for himself. So this entire walk is a character-building exercise. Later on, the donkeys start challenging your guy's desire to return home. Going home means giving up, and why give up when there's a big mountain to climb for no reason? Maybe it's better not to overthink a game that has bizarre butt jiggle physics that's purposefully annoying and unforgiving. And like Bennett Foddy, you're never given a helping hand. Sad stumble can send you really far back down the mountain. And that's one place where Baby Steps easily outclasses other games in this weird genre. Falling can be awful, but you're never limited to one single path. Your second walk up the mountain can be completely different than the first. There's a lot more stuff to do here. The mountain is full of weird side quest challenges that may or may not have a deeper purpose. You'll find trees with fruits on them as you climb. Reaching the fruit is always tough. You'll need to platform in a way that seems impossible earlier on in the game, taking careful steps onto each branch and to reach the top. Later, you'll find that you need to step on tiled surfaces that you'll slip off completely, immediately, instantly. It just happens. It takes a little practice and you might get past those. The trick is moving fast, and it's possible to walk up muddy slides or slick rock surfaces in those segments. Thankfully, the game also gives you options while climbing. You're not always forced to take the most dangerous path. With a little exploration, you can find alternate roads. They lead to way easier progression. Sometimes you'll need to carefully step across a crumbling bridge or shimmy over a ledge, but if you do fall, you might just find an alternate route that is easier. We did find some pretty fun locations. Early on, we found a barn with a little yellow chick that followed our guy around. Even after getting lost, it returned to us. If there's something to do with it, we didn't find it. The level of possibility does make the game a lot more fun to explore. The best rewards we were able to find were hats. These decorative items are often hidden or located at the top of tricky platforming areas, like the box at the peak of Box Hell. Take a wrong step in the mud, you'll slide into box hell. A maze of boxes, it's actually pretty easy to traverse unless you're going to try to find the cardboard box hat, which that requires a lot of jank. With a little practice, you can learn how to use the physics system to your advantage and jank yourself up ledges you can't normally reach with just your feet alone. By wobbling over ledges, you pick yourself up on the other side. Learning how to use physics glitches in your favor is another aspect of these games. It's not cheating when you'll often find your feet phasing through objects or the physics simply breaking. Like, it's kind of what you're supposed to figure out. Like, how do you force this game to do what you want it to do? Because everything about the game is set up to not do what you want it to do. I'll say, though, that the physics glitching when it's just happening, it doesn't ruin the game. I don't think you can really ruin a shitpost game, but it can get aggravating when you're trying to cross a tricky path. Another funny location is a much later repeat of the pit. Instead of a muddy pit, it's a pool you trap yourself inside. There's even a skateboard you can kind of sort of ride on. Like everything else, it's completely impossible with the physics, and after a few minutes, you'll get a cutscene with your helpful guide bringing a ladder in to let you out. This cutscene becomes more unhinged and therefore funnier, so we're totally open to there being a bunch of secret content that we totally missed. I have a feeling that's probably the case. When you're exploring the poison swamps, there's another major collectible other than fruit. Hats have this immediate effect in the world. First of all, you look fine sporting one of the many hats. Frog hat, early favorite of mine. You will have to take good care of them because when you trip and fall, your hat falls off, and sometimes it falls straight through the world. If you manage to carry the hat all the way to the campsite, you'll be treated to a secret old-school minigame dream. So while wearing a bucket, our character dreamed of an Atari lo-fi world, searching for a urinal. It ends like a nightmare. We can only assume the game is full of more supremely weird secrets like that to discover. Feels like that type of a game. One of the more important mechanics that isn't really explained, though, are your foot shadows. There is a full dynamic shadow of your character projected by the sun, but there's also small, faint black shadows directly beneath your footsteps. These drop shadows are a really important aspect of the platforming game design, because unless you're looking at them, you won't know where your foot's going. Sometimes the day-night cycle makes these drop shadows a little harder to see, which is a constant annoyance that you are going to have to struggle with, alongside all the other normal annoyances. The game doesn't tell you this, but in the settings menu, there's additional controls that are absolutely necessary for precise climbing. The commands aren't bound to keys normally. Slow foot mode and the ability to slowly raise and lower your feet, it's not there normally, so check that out. Slow foot mode allows for the movement of your legs, making it much easier to carefully place your foot before dropping it down, while raising and lowering your leg makes placement even better. Why these controls aren't not bound to buttons normally, I can't tell you, but set those commands as soon as you start the game because it's an instantly improved experience. It doesn't make the game a lot easier, but it gives you a lot more precision. The drop shadows are a lot easier to see when your leg's close to the ground, too. A misplaced step, though, it can waste an hour of gameplay if you're particularly unlucky. Part of the discourse around the release of Hollow Knight Silksong is whether games respect our time. And it's kind of, I don't know, there's some element of that I don't like. I'm not really into the idea that a game has to specifically consider my time. Like, what is it trying to do? Is it doing that well? Well, that may actually require a lot more time than one would seemingly think is respectful. It's even like to the point where satisfying isn't always, I mean, we use that word a lot, but I don't necessarily love the idea that it is the end all be all. Sometimes something that isn't satisfying is kind of the thing you need, especially narratively speaking. But now I'm waxing philosophical, and it's not even relevant here because Baby Steps does not respect your time. Like, it laughs at your time. It spits on your time. It kicks sand in your time's face while it's down. We talked about checkpoints earlier, but they're stopping points in name only. Every level is connected in one massive open world, and you can fall from one level on the mountain down to another. There's lots of muddy slides and rivers that exist purely to pull you from one level and send your guy falling back down. When we said you can lose hours of progress, we absolutely meant it. Trudging back up can be a slog, but you've got your eyes open. You can discover new paths to get up more efficiently, or you can use your new foot control skills to climb paths that previously seemed impossible. Baby Steps is a skill you can learn, By the end of our time with the game, we were sprinting up sand dunes and easily maneuvering up steps that we thought we'd never be able to climb. Like, there's lots of tricks to your movement. Some surfaces require small, careful steps. It's possible to fight back against the friction, slowly progressing up a hill while you slide down. You can actually pull off some stuff that's really impressive in this game that's meant to be so difficult to control. The biggest issue is running into dead ends. As rare as they are, or stumbling around in the dark, when it can be really difficult to tell one type of surface from another. It's times like that we wish there wasn't a day-night cycle, but what's the point of the game if it had quality of life features? It's not a quality of life game. It will save your progress, and that's it. And to be fair, man, did we want a save point sometimes. The giant tower we found after the second campsite is one of those areas that made us just beg for quick saves. Even if there's literally no reason to challenge yourself here, the game warns you twice. There's nothing up there. We had to check for ourselves, though. Should have listened, obviously, because getting to the top is just painful game design. It's precarious. It's got narrow edges that you have to carefully maneuver your feet. It's just awful. And it's completely exhilarating that we actually got past the challenge, that it was stumping us. And that way, Baby Steps is completely honest about what it is. We climbed that tower. There was nothing at the top, but the game warned us twice. And if I'm completely honest, I felt really good about getting to the top. It was almost like defying the game. And you're telling me there's no reason to do this, and that it's really hard, and that there's really no reward for it. And you basically are making my life difficult all the time, you bitch of a game. I'm climbing the damn thing, and it feels good when you do. Baby Steps proudly says this is a waste of time. If you want to throw away hours of your precious life trying to climb a steep pile of mud, you can. The game is best enjoyed as a clip compilation, perhaps. The cutscenes are a lot funnier out of context than in-game, but it's also a game that just makes us too curious to give up. It's like the Elden Ring of Q-op or Quap likes. Really, genuinely, that's what I would call it. There's so much to see and do in the early stages, and you can have fun without ever really needing to reach the hard parts of the game. You can flop around in the beginner's baby level. You can have a chuckle. You can move on your life from there. Or you can end up walking on poles a million miles in the sky trying to track down the perfect potty. It's a great metaphor for the game. The goal is not important. It's the journey that you remember. And the journey is very, very stupid. And intentionally so. Anyway, that's what we've got for you. If this sounds fun or good or whatever, if it sounds like something you want to do, it's 100% that. I don't think anything about this misrepresents it. So if you want to buy it based on what I've said, I'd say you should. What do you think, though? Leave us a comment. Let us know. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications. And as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at FalconTheHero. We'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.
What?